wanted to hit that. And something that you hit on too, that it looks like Adrian had a question on, was branding. Talk about that, because I know what you mean by it. I know exactly what you mean by it. It's very important. It's very important to make sure that your brand is a reflection of who you are and the work that you do. That's why I don't talk about crap on this channel, because people can go back at any point in time and say, oh, you know what? And that messes up your bag. Talk about branding and how important that is.
Man, I've said this on a couple of Twitter spaces, but the second half of 2020, and when I started this channel is when I really decided to go all in on my brand. So this YouTube is a extension of my brand, as well as what I do on LinkedIn, where I make, thought-provoking posts, where I bring my expertise and I talk about things, or I talk about, a cert that I'm studying for, or, just showing my value, and, it's part of my brand. And now when you look me up, you say, okay, I see what he does. And like you said, and I tell people this all the time, like I have a blog article I did about, like, how to level up in the workplace. And I included it as a bonus section at the end of my ebook. It's like, hey, companies are looking for leaders. So some people are kind of scared to get into this content game, but you just being able to speak like this and articulate your thoughts and show actually some of your soft skills, like, it helps you out. I've even showed, like, I got like one of the technical videos on my channel to where I used to use it, like, while I was interviewing, say, oh, send them this video of me using Splunk. Like, I know how to use Splunk. Just show them this. So it's so many different type of ways you can do this and stand out above the rest, because everybody isn't doing this. Some people just sending a resume in and they're thinking they finna get hired. Then you got the other people that I'm teaching, say, hey, send this resume, apply, then go in here and send them 2 paragraphs about yourself, what you're working on, your skill set, and what's next for you, what you're looking for in the company. Send them that. Watch the recruiter reply back to you.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the game. It's the back end. It's the back end. It's kind of like, how, like, we always used to go to club. I used to go to clubs, and you had to go through the front door. Now we got a little bit of money now. There's something that you can do to get shoe in the side door. You may have to pay out of pocket, but there's a way for you to do it, right? That's how we roll these days. That's how the job market is these days as well too. So thinking that you're applying to jobs and you're not using your resources such as LinkedIn, right? Twitter. I don't use Twitter that often. It's something that I need to get better at, but I am very, very, I use LinkedIn all the time. And when I coach people, I let them, or I share with them how to use it to get the result that they want. And it's really about, doing the research, because everything is in one place for LinkedIn. You can see the company, you can see who the recruiters are, you can see exactly who's working for them, what color they are, all that stuff, right? Because all you see is the profiles and so forth. And you're like, hey, you know what? Oh man, this is textual chatter that works at this company, and he's in this position. I'm gonna see if he can drop my resume in, because I had him on my YouTube channel, right? Like, that's how you do stuff, right? And you can literally get an interview just from somebody who works for the company that you potentially know, and they submit your resume on their behalf. That's automatic a resume for a lot of it, because it's a referral. And then the person brings you in and you get hired, they get money on top of it.
Right. Yeah. And that just brings me back into that whole networking piece. It's like, one of my shout out to I always say this, like, every time, like, my guy Dayspring, man, I think he's either about to be 20 or just 20. I'm not going to announce what his next move is before he does on YouTube. But he's doing major things. He started off, if you guys go look up Day Cyberwalks and go back to 2020 when he started this tech journey, he's went from, zero to hero fast. And last year when he had got his first full-time, SOC role, I knew they was underpaying him. But I knew at my job that I already had pretty much everybody in the company like me. I said, you know what? I'm going to get you on. Referred him. He killed it. He killed it even when I left. And he, I think he topped out. I think he was already making 6 figures before he left that company. And he just got a new job at a major company at 20 years old. This is all in the 2-year time span.
Wow.
But the key is, what people don't see is, every time I'm texting him, or it's like we both, me and him are always up late at night. He's always working on something. So he's like, yeah, man, I'm working on AWS Clapper formation, or I'm working on my home lab, or this and that. So by the branding piece of it, he also has a brand as well, like his YouTube. He does blog pieces. He's wrote articles on like how to make your own home labs, like all these different things. Like now, you know, recruiters see your, and it's one of the things I also tell people to do to help them out in their job search, like to start a blog and document it. Because if you're learning a new skill set, you start blogging and documenting it, you won't be nervous when you start getting asked questions about it in job interviews, because you're gonna be familiar with the content because you've been writing on what you've been working on.
Yeah.
So it's really one of the things that's like underrated. Like, and you don't have to be the best writer or anything like that. Get on something like Medium, or whether you just want to make LinkedIn posts, just get on there. You know, I use a site called ProWritingAid.com, or you can use something like a Grammarly. It helps you with your sentence structure. And actually now Microsoft Word's AI has gotten better to even show you like, hey, this sentence probably might be better flowing like this. So it's really all about what you make it. But the key is, like Master I.T says, like kind of like, I would say two things: access and like exposure. Like those like two things right there are key. You know, you may not think you could, you know, get into tech. There's a lot of people think like you got to be like some genius, some rocket scientist to do this. I'm like, not really, because you got non-tech roles, you know, non-technical tech roles that are getting paid a lot of money.
Hey, I'm one of them.
Right.
I don't do the tech stuff anymore. I say that's for your young guys, man. I'm trying to get to the bag.
Man, I'm telling you, like I'm saying, you know, just even something simple as like policy. Like I navigate a lot of people. Like when I review their resumes on LinkedIn, they're try to be super technical. But I'm like, hey, your skill set fits governance, risk, and compliance, like in cybersecurity. Like, go that route. Lower barrier to entry, and you probably a better fit for it.
Yep. Ms. Wade dropped out the textual chatters YouTube's again, guys. Go ahead and make sure you subscribe. Adrian says companies are looking for leaders. Boy, you know that's important. That's the piece of it that's very important, because you know leadership in a company is make or break in people's experience in their career. That's a huge piece of it, right? Because you can be working for a leader or a lack of one, and you can have all the ambitions all you want, right? But if they don't have the willingness to promote, develop, and encourage you and stuff like that to lead you to, you know, to do more, right? To see that you can have an opportunity to ladder climb and get to the bag, you're never ever going to want to do it for that company.
Right.
It's important.
You should leave.
And you should leave. I would agree. I would absolutely agree. There's terrible leaders that exist out there, and I've worked for a ton of them, where I'm the one who has to take the leadership role for people who are in higher positions, right? To try to galvanize people.
And I've seen leaders like that destroy some people's confidence in themselves.
Absolutely.
These people are some excellent employees, and the leader is the toxic one, making his employees feel less than. Right. Don't, you know, if you know you're good, don't worry about this. Say your work gonna speak for itself. They keep on lying, keep on applying. That's the slogan for 2022.
Well, here's a piece of it too. Textual chatter, you said leaders destroy. Well, they aren't leaders. They're just in positions of power. That's what it is, right? They aren't leaders. They are just in positions of power. They got the title, right? And they think that title actually means that they're a leader. It's not the truth. There's somebody that it just doesn't line up, right? A leadership is something completely different. And you can be a leader at any level, right? And that's that's a huge piece of the things that we talk about here on this channel as well too. What else you got to Persistent Bake says it's good OSINT practice. I'm assuming what is I don't know what OSINT is, but you may know what that is.
Open source intelligence.
Open source intelligence. Got it. Very good. Yeah. Adrian Nash says this is so inspiring. We appreciate that access and exposure. What job exactly? Taboo Smash says. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, I don't know what time the comment came in. So I don't know.
Me either. I wasn't sure as well too. Ms. Wade dropped out KevTech IT Supports channel, and guys go and subscribe to KevTech IT Support as well too. And KevTech and I would be doing a live stream in March. I think March 7th or something like that. We got it on the calendar now. And Adrian Nash,
we will too, actually.
Absolutely. I mean, we make our rounds. That's the good thing.
Yeah.
It's part of a strong community. I love that. Adrian asks, I believe that a leader must be competent and kind. I would just say this. Yeah, I think those are some good characteristics. But I also say, empathy and vision as well too, right? I think that's a huge piece of it as well.
Here's a key. I said this in interviews a couple years back, and sometimes I say it depending on the flow, but they asking me questions about how I interact with people. I use the term emotional intelligence a lot, and I don't think a lot of leaders take classes on emotional intelligence. Therefore, that's why they can't get the most out of their employees.
That's right.
If you know how to employ it correctly, you should have no problem with anybody, getting work done. You just got to approach everyone differently and figure out their strong suits.
I agree. Well, one of the leadership principles I was actually trained on, some of the things that we actually do here at Black Heights as well too, is situational leadership, right? Because you got to look at people where they are along their journey as well too. You don't treat somebody who's just come into the organization the same exact as you would treat somebody who's been doing this for 8 years, right? You just don't, right? And you look at things as like a task. What is it that they have to do? And you have to be able to either one-way communication or two-way communication. One-way communication usually for the people who don't know shit, right? The people who are just coming in. Hey, this is how you do it, right? You're not expecting a lot of feedback back unless they have questions, right? Two-way communication is, okay, well, I understand, Mr. Textual Chatter, you already know everything about cybersecurity. This is how I think you should do it. What's your thoughts on it? Nah, Antoine, you're wrong. I have the experience. I think you should do it this way. I think this is how we should do it. Okay, well, great. This is how you're going to do it then, right? That's two-way communication. So I love that you hit on EQ as well too, because it is very important. And some
I
of
took that class in grad school at that.
Yeah, well, what's important is that's just part of soft skills. That's all part of what are the intangibles that maybe you just really can't measure. The only way you can measure that a lot of the times is how much success that somebody's had in their life or with working with other people. Yep. Right. And sometimes that's even wrong a lot of the times too. And you see in the tech world, because you can see a lot of these tech founders, they get up there and they're just the technical ones. And at the end of the day, they got to the bag and people hated working for them. Right. Travis Kalanick, the guy from Uber. Right. A lot of people didn't like working for him. He got ousted. Even the guy at WeWork as well too.
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, Textual Chatter, man, we're at that time, brother. What do you want to leave the audience with that you want to remember, man? Any key takeaways you got?
Just I've been on this word probably like the last year. Is like be intentional. If you're in the job search process, be intentional with your time, your studying. Another thing, if you're trying to get a cert, book that date to take the test. Make that be the first thing you do. It's going to hold you accountable. Use your LinkedIn. Have at least 500 connections so you can see a lot of people coming on their profile. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much a kind of similar thing you can do on most social media profiles, but comment on their pages, thought-provoking comments, reach out to people. Some people are looking for mentors. Show your value to a mentor, and they may mentor you. I'll leave it at that because that's a big one. I get hit up about that a lot. And some people want to be coached, not mentored, but they don't know the difference. And so I try to tell them about that sometimes. Yeah, man. Also just telling everybody, hey, you belong. If you learn about, how it is in the tech world, if you haven't been lucky yet, I got a video where I said like 100 jobs told me no. So I'll just let you know, like, I'm just to leave y'all with this, like I'm a regular guy from Shreveport, Louisiana. I grew up in a mobile home, and I'm just making my way through the tech world, man. So if I can do it, y'all can too.
I love it. I absolutely love it, man. I appreciate you, Textual Chatter, for coming on, guys, and sharing your words of wisdom, your knowledge, your story, because I think it's very inspiring, right? I mean, like, I think that's one thing I love about these collaborations is, right, everybody has a story, and everybody's story is unique because it's their story. And, I think this allows us to, whatever pieces of it, of your story that resonates with others, it's going to inspire them that they can actually get it done. And then when you see people who, are very similar, in aspects of how they think or aspects of how they grew up, you likely want to mimic those kind of behaviors and follow and look into those people a little bit more.